Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul. My name is Melissa from Fox 26 Morning News, also a medical reporter. And if you join me week after week, you know that this is often about somebody who's had a medical crisis, but they kept faith in their hearts and souls, and they came out better on the other side of it all. We're going to switch things up this week. You may have already noticed a different set, a different feel, a different look for Lunch for the Soul. I'm so happy to welcome you to this mock set. So it's to come, hopefully, in our future at Fox 26. But right now, I'm going to bring in our special guest to tell you how it all came about in the first place. So without further ado, let's bring in Dr. Caesar Wright. Welcome to Lunch for the Soul. I'm so happy to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm really excited about the set. Let's dive right into it. One of the things that you mentioned is that, a lot of your guests have some sort of a medical crisis. And I would say that COVID is a medical crisis that impacted all of us in very different ways. Some of us had lost family members and loved ones. Some of us were very sick. But all of us had to change how we adapted to the sort of post-COVID world in terms of learning, work, telemedicine. We started to do all of these things virtually. And that coincided also with the rise of influencer culture. So every kid now wants to be a YouTuber. Every kid wants to be an influencer. Some parents may not be too excited about seeing their kids on Instagram and TikTok. And what I'm here to say is that the content aside, the digital and technical skills that you develop by learning to do these things translate into so many other areas of life. And so when we talk about medical professionals, I think there was a massive crisis, and we saw it among teachers and also medical professionals. These are people who have to connect with kids, a lot of times have to connect with people across the screen and have to do a job that's already difficult enough. And now they're being expected to gain these technology skills and learn how to navigate Zoom and Teams and operate cameras and keep their system from crashing. So a lot of the work that I do is to help empower people to just eliminate technology as an obstacle and make it sort of a tool that you can use to do these things more effectively.
Well, and I want to make sure that everybody knows, too, your background. So first of all, I met you more than 20 years ago when you were an intern at Fox 26. You went on to get your PhD, and now you are teaching so many students, all these brilliant minds about how to make these things come to life. And you do that as the program director for Microsoft VIP. Let's make sure that our viewers know what that is. And I want people to really pay closely attention to this. Because again, not just for medical professionals, you're teaching students, you're teaching all kinds of people how to do this at free of charge. We never hear about that. How are you able to pull that off so that there are no strings attached and really help people learn to take their video game to a whole new world? Like you said, if you want to be an influencer, which is so popular these days, to make it look the very best you can.
Yeah. So, one of the things that happened at the beginning of COVID, as you mentioned, I have a background in production. I worked in the film industry for many years. I actually started as an intern at Fox and became a news editor, worked in documentary film for many years. And I taught at Rice in engineering, working with emergent technology. So I had launched a number of programs with Microsoft around things like artificial intelligence, drone technology, augmented and virtual reality, esports, these kind of things. But when COVID hit, they asked me to translate all of that into fully virtual programs. So I created and launched some of the first fully virtual events for Microsoft, Youth Spark, DigiGirls. So these were STEM events for kids, but also professional workforce events with the city of Houston and Microsoft Accelerate to help people upskill and gain the skills to become competitive in this new economy. And what I quickly realized in doing that is that even though I am, I guess you'd say, ideally positioned to do that. I understand production. I've worked in media. I've worked in emergent technology. And it was still very hard for me to do. And when I look back at some of my first virtual events, it's kind of embarrassing. They were good enough at the time. Everybody thought they went well. But I look back at them and it's just cringy now seeing how bad they were. It's like looking back at an old website from the early 90s that everybody thought was really hot back then.
No,
and
I know what you mean. Even with with this Lunch for the Soul, we had video just to give you an idea of what it looks like in my newsroom. And I love our newsroom, but it's just a completely different feel, right? So when you have a situation where it's like this, I feel like it gives people maybe a little background of the newsroom. But I love what we're doing now, where you have just a completely different feel. I guess almost like the feel of home when you're at work. And I feel like maybe people can open up more in a conversation where they feel like they're at home with me. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. And, I've done the show with you before. And even for me, just seeing you now, it makes me so happy because I really see your personality. I see you coming out. You just seem so comfortable and, you're always smiling, but now it's a warm, comforting smile that just shows me that you feel at home on that set. And if you feel at home, your audience is going to feel more engaged. They're going to feel more connected. So imagine doing that, but we also do it for teachers to make it easier for them to do their job. We do it for teachers.
And what's incredible is your students were very involved in this. I mean, from the get-go, and 5 of them are interns at Fox 26. It's been such an honor getting to know them. Tell me about the process of right now. We're looking at the reclaimed wood, so to speak, behind me. How did that come to life with these amazing students?
One of the things that I love to emphasize is that you shouldn't have to break the bank to have good production values. You can accomplish a lot with very little. And that's what I did for many years working in documentary film where we didn't have a lot of, much of a budget. So what you're seeing is footage of our students actually building the entire set that you're sitting on right now from scratch using found materials. In fact, they're using the old fence that my neighbor tore down. And I saw him tearing it down and went and asked the guys if they could give it to me. And they were happy to, because they were going to have to haul it away otherwise. So I carried it away for them. And the students cut the wood, designed the set, built it. You're seeing all the materials there. And what some people look at as trash, we turned into a really cool design. And to put some numbers behind it, this entire set costs maybe $100 to build. And that doesn't necessarily include some of the lights, but even then, we very specifically use lighting and equipment and cameras that are cost effective as well. Everything on this set, the average person would have access to $70 lights, a $1,000 camera. And I also want to give a shout out to my students on this. I'm so proud of all the work that they've done and their efforts in doing this. And they're also doing the production. So they're setting up the lights, they're running the camera, they're running sound. And today we're using it for your set, but later on this week, they'll be using it for their Unmuted Human Trafficking podcast, where they're using this exact same set, maybe redecorated a bit, and they're using it to help fight the scourge of human trafficking here in Houston, which is one of the human trafficking capitals of the world. So that's one of the exciting things to me, is that you can, once you have these skills, you can find your passion and decide how do you want to apply them to make the world better. And then you can use those production skills, but you can also use it to go get a job. You can use it to enhance your resume. So the fact that, and as you mentioned earlier, I do all of this for free. Through Microsoft, they fund this and some of my other corporate partners. And their goal is, Microsoft's mission is to empower every organization to achieve more through technology. And that's what you see students doing when they're using Microsoft Teams and virtual literacy to fight human trafficking. So we'll be offering, and I'll make this information available to you, a series of 100% free events, Microsoft VIP events, to help train your audience. So if anybody out there, if you're looking to just incorporate a layer of high quality production and virtual engagement into your work, please feel free to come and attend those events. Once again, we can't make it any easier for you. It's 100% free.
No, and I think it's so important for people to realize that, and that you're readily available to help them. Most professionals, and I would say that the pandemic definitely helped us, don't really know how to pull it off correctly. I mean, I remember so many virtual videos where we laughed until we were sick, hopefully not at the expense of somebody else, but where somebody had a catastrophic, pun intended here, in this situation. I mean, everyone has to remember this virtual court appearance where a lawyer got stuck in his cat mode and couldn't get out of it, and nobody could help him. And, this was a very serious situation that ended up going viral, and we got a lot of laughs out of it, but nobody wants that to happen to them in a serious situation. And that's where you come in to really help figure it all out, especially a medical professional who's trying to do telemedicine.
Yeah. And I love that video because, we can all laugh, and hopefully we're laughing with him, not at him, because we've all experienced that, some version of that ourselves. And even though it's funny, we have to take it seriously, because we have to remember some of these people, maybe not always lawyers, but certainly medical professionals and teachers, are out there doing a job that's already hard enough, and they have limited time, limited resources. They don't have the time to go back to school and learn a whole new skill set. So making it very easily accessible, compartmentalizing small workshops, 2 to 4 hour workshops that they can do on a weekend and learn those skills and avoid getting stuck as a cat in a virtual meeting. Although, you may have seen some of my meetings. Sometimes I'll put on a Viking filter, and as you can tell by my background here, I'm a little bit strange, but it's with intentionality. You see my background here, and it's eclectic. I got my Freddy Krueger behind me, and my metaverse book, my Captain America. Part of the reason that I do that is I lead events from here to show kids that through education, through technology, I'm able to 13, but I have more money to buy Transformers. And so the mastery of those skills opens possibilities for as you are right now, comfortable on your set. It feels like home to you. And this feels like home to me. We have very different homes. But the ability to live authentically and incorporate that into the work that you do and into your world. And we're able to do that through education and technology. And that intersection is always what's exciting to me.
Oh, sure. And I'm just so proud of the executives at Fox that have recognized that digital is certainly, it's here and now, it's our future, and they want to do everything they can to make this look and feel as good as they can. And then they brought in your expertise on this. Also, my hope is, and they've been working with you on this, is that we'll bring something close to this into our Fox studios, and have something very similar for all of the different news anchors at Fox, so that we have our own space. Are you hearing this from more and more companies, that really more people are turning to this type of venue, so to speak?
Yeah, 100%. And it's everywhere. It's from the executive world, from your CEO realizes he can't be the one person on that virtual meeting that doesn't look good when the 20-year-old new hire looks better in the virtual meeting. And at the same time, news organizations are scrambling to adapt, because on the one hand, there is still a tremendous value to traditional broadcast news, which looks a very specific way. You have your news studio, and that has a very recognizable aesthetic. But you're also, and I think Fox has been very innovative in this, and D'Artagnan, as a general manager, has always brought innovation to Fox. And I think that one of the things that he's done that's very forward-looking is to look at how you can integrate social media, influencer culture, content creation, and bring that into the newsroom. And it necessarily has to look different. If we just film you at a news desk doing content for Instagram, it's not going to work, because it's a different, the medium is the message, and the delivery and the style and the look of all of that is going to inform the reception. So when we're trying to reach people who are on Instagram, TikTok, social media, you need to reach them in a way that is familiar, that the content looks like what they would expect to see from their YouTubers and from content creators. And I think that that's our goal with your show and with some of the other shows that we hope to support at Fox, is to really just give you that space to be your authentic self, but also package it in a way that is very familiar to users of digital content.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk more about what you're offering. Okay, so now you have a new partnership. Let's talk a little bit about that, of how that's going to work. And again, I want people to know Microsoft VIP. Tell us what the VIP stands for, and then what you're doing moving forward.
Absolutely. So Microsoft VIP stands for Virtual Innovation Professionals. So people that are working somewhere in the virtual realm, and they're innovating, and they're taking this into the professional workforce. So all of the skills we teach are designed so that, yes, you can use them to, talk to grandma on a Zoom call, but you can also use them in industry and in enterprise and in the workforce. So that's the entire goal of Microsoft VIP, is for everything from K-12, preparing the students who say, I want to be a content creator, I want to be a YouTuber. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll be hugely successful doing that. But if not, you'll gain the technical skills to make yourself valuable to companies later on. But then the workforce, the people who were maybe laid off during COVID, and they're looking to take that opportunity to upskill and start a new endeavor, relaunch their career in different ways. We're here to support those people. And I'm very excited to announce that we are now partnering with TrueLeap, which is a company that has an LMS, a learning management system, that is going to be helping us expand our Microsoft programs globally, once again, so that people can access that content free of charge. And to give you some context, I've had about 30,000 students come through my Microsoft programs in the past 7 years, which, I'm proud of. I think we've reached a lot of people. TrueLeap is going to help us expand that to around 2 million users in the next couple of years, in places including the Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, India, Brazil, and right here in the US and right here in Houston. So I'm just hugely excited by that partnership. I think we've got some great content, but it's a tree. You don't want to have a tree falling in the woods scenario where you have amazing content, but if it doesn't get out to people, it's necessarily limited. So by working with partners that can help us get that content out and in front of the people who can make use of it, that's just powerful.
How do people get a hold of you?
You can email me directly, and I'll provide that email, Caesar@kinoeyecenter.com. And we'll also have a pre-registration sign-up link for some of our upcoming virtual events. So as you can tell, I'm very casual, very approachable. Feel free to email me at any time. And I think Melissa can confirm that. I like to connect with people and see how I can support. But we'll also be having a series of virtual events, which you can use the link to pre-register and sort of give us a sense of your interest. In advance of events, I also like to know what would be the most beneficial to you. So if you say, hey, my kid's middle school could really use this. I've run events at middle schools because parents reached out to me and said, we would love for you to offer this. I've run events for companies because some of the staff reached out and said, it's very hard for us to do our job without some of the skills. We also run programs on generative AI. So artificial intelligence is a really important theme right now. I run sessions on metaverse, augmented and virtual reality, esports, drones and robotics, pretty much any realm of emergent technology. If it's a buzzword and you're hearing about it, it tells me as an anthropologist, which is part of my background, that it's something that's important to this moment in human history, and we need to address that. So that's what we do with all of our programs. It's this intersection of technology and culture, looking at what matters to people right now and how can we empower them with the technical skills to excel in those areas.
Well, and I want to make sure people can get a hold of you. A lot of people spell Caesar differently. Kino, they might not know how to spell that. So why don't you spell your email and then tell us about a website, and we'll wrap things up.
Yep. Caesar, CESARE, at Kino Eye Center, KINOEYECENTER.com. And the website is kinoeyecenter.com, KINOEYECENTER, all one giant word.com.
And then there's a neat thing behind why it's called Kino Eye. Why don't you tell us quickly the meaning behind it? And then we really will wrap.
Okay. So Kino Eye, it comes from a film theorist, very early film theorist in the early 1900s, Dziga Vertov, who believed that the camera not only captured our reality, but it created new realities. And that it could see the world in a way that human beings couldn't. It could see at a microscopic level. It could see at a telescopic level. We can see other universes. We can see, into ourselves. And we can create entirely new realms of experience through the mediation of the camera, through cinema, through entertainment. And so that was really inspiring to me when I was a student. So I actually launched and founded the Kino Eye Center when I graduated from Rice. And a long time. Wow, I feel really old now. 20 some years later, it's still going strong, and we're doing new and more innovative things.
All right. Well, it's so good to see you as always, Caesar, or I should say Dr. Wright, in this situation. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all you do for our community. Thank you for teaching these students so much. They actually helped us so much at Fox through their internship. It was truly an honor to be with these bright minds. It's been a fun semester to share with them and with you. And we certainly appreciate you here on Lunch for the Soul.
Thank you so much.
All right. You'll be a part of it forever as we move forward with all kinds of new looks, I hope. And I want to remind you all, 12:30 is a place to be on Wednesdays for Lunch for the Soul. I hope you join me back here next week. Remember, you can always catch all of our episodes on our YouTube page for Fox 26, or you can go to fox26houston.com. Hope to see you back here next week. Have a beautiful day and be blessed.